guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Holly, this is She Reads, and today I have a really exciting video for you. I am going to be sharing a subscriber story today. So a while back I started a series on my channel where I tell your stories or my own stories, and so far I've done a couple from my own kind of haunted house series where I've told you some true experiences that have happened in my life revolving a haunting around my mother's house. And today I am so excited to share a subscriber story, which is also quite creepy and also revolves around kind of, I guess, a haunting or a ghost, that sort of thing. I do want to just state straight out that I hope that I have done justice in kind of translating this story. There was a little bit of a language barrier between my subscriber and I. He is from India and this story takes place in India, so there's a little bit of a language barrier. He has very good English, so it wasn't too bad, but I hope that I didn't misinterpret some of the things that he said. So I just want to go out and just say that first thing. And yeah, let's just get right on into the story. So for the sake of this story, I'm not going to say my subscriber's name. I did not ask him if he, wanted me to do that or not. I'm just going to give him a fake name, and we're just going to call him Sam in this story. And Sam's story begins when he meets a girl at university, and we're going to call her Myra. So Sam meets Myra at university when they're both studying for, I assume, what is the same job, or they're kind of trying to get their same degree. I'm not sure if they were exactly going into the same field, but they were in a class together. Now, Sam tells me that he was a very, very shy, kind of quiet guy. He never really paid attention to any of the girls in his class because he was very, very focused on his studies and on his future career. But one day, he and Myra ended up getting paired up to be partners on an assignment. So they exchanged contact information and, did their project and whatever, never really thought much of it after that. But then a few months later, they both ended up graduating and they both ended up getting job placements in different places. So Sam stayed where he was in New Delhi, India. Meanwhile, Myra's job ended up taking her to Mumbai. They never really spoke too much after that. Like I said, they had just been partners on that one project, so nothing really came of it other than that. But a few months later, during the Diwali festival, Sam was going through his phone and, just as we do on New Year's Eve, and we wish all of our family and friends a happy New Year's Eve, he was going through his contacts and wishing everybody a happy Diwali festival. And he happened to see Myra's name there, and he hadn't really thought about her in, some time, and he decided to send her a message, wishing her a happy Diwali as well. And she responded, and from there, they kind of just started talking, and a romance developed. So they became involved long distance in a romantic relationship. At the time, Sam was 25 years old and Myra was actually 5 years older than him. So as you can imagine, she's 30, so she's already wanting to settle down, and she had quite early on started asking him about marriage, which he was not ready for at the time. Wanted to get more focused in his career, more set up and settled in his career, but he was very serious about her and he did see a future with her, so they continued to date long distance. They would often stay up late into the night and they'd be texting and video chatting and sending pictures and all that kind of thing that, anybody does when they're in a long distance relationship and really trying to make each other a priority. But unfortunately, about a month after this, his grandmother unfortunately passed away. Sam was very, very close with his grandmother. He was like a son to her, and because they were so close, and also because of the fact that he was the only male born into his family, he was asked to perform the rituals after she passed. She, I guess, had asked him this before she had passed if he would do this, and he had agreed. Now, this is really, really interesting, and I didn't really do any research into this, but I think I would really like to learn a little bit more about it. But just from what I have gathered from Sam emailing me, this is kind of how the rituals go. So according to Hindu beliefs, the soul of the deceased person remains with the person doing the rituals for 13 days. And he didn't really get into what all these rituals were, but one thing that he did say was that basically it requires you, if you're going to be this person doing these rituals for someone, it requires you to live an absolutely pure and simple life for the 13 days. So that means pure food, vegetarian meals, no impure thoughts, no lustful behaviors, nothing bad. Basically, you have to live as pure as possible for these 13 days. and you can't like be thinking any negative thoughts or anything like that. It also requires that you cannot go out alone for these 13 days. So if you're going to be going anywhere, you need to be accompanied by someone else, because I guess your soul is very vulnerable at this time, and any negative or evil spirits or entities can try to attack you or even possess you. Now, even though Sam did agree to do these rituals, he never really truly believed in any of these negative consequences. So he did decide to do the rituals, but he just kind of never really had those beliefs in the back of his head. He just kind of thought, oh, whatever, that's not true. That can't be true. On the 6th day of the ritual, he and Myra were having a video chat. His grandmother's house was in Rajasthan. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I apologize if I'm not. But she had never been here before. So she was kind of saying, show me around. I'd like to see, where you are and where your grandmother's house is. So Sam went out alone in order to kind of take her on a tour of this area. So while talking with her, Sam ended up walking about 5 kilometers away from his grandmother's home, and they're just, having a conversation. He's showing her around. And Rajasthan is apparently full of like ancient places. There's an ancient university there, and like all of these really amazing temples and buildings, and they're like very, very old and, just beautiful, beautiful places. So there was quite a bit for him to show her. During this conversation, as you can imagine, 2 young people in love that are very, very far away from each other, their conversation began to turn a little bit romantic or lustful, as some would say, which, if you can remember earlier, what I had explained is that that is an absolute no-no. So now he has done 2 things that he is not supposed to be doing. He is having a lustful conversation with a woman, and lustful thoughts, and he has left on his own without anybody accompanying him. So eventually he had reached this place where he had almost kind of gotten lost. He wasn't quite sure where he was, but it was apparently quite beautiful. So he decided that he wanted to show her this area. So he's like taking the camera off of himself, and he's, showing around. And all of a sudden she starts to panic, saying that she sees something behind him. And of course, he's looking behind him. He's not seeing anything, but she is like getting more and more panicked. And she's saying that his face is becoming distorted. She can't make out what he's saying. She can't make out even what he's looking like, but she thinks she sees a ghost on the camera. So of course, obviously this is going to panic him. Is, initially thinking that, it's a bad connection, but she is saying, oh my God, there's a ghost. Like, there's a ghost where you are, like, and she is freaking out. So that obviously scares him, and he goes into panic mode as well. So he gets up and he turns around, and the second that he turns around, he feels almost like a burning sensation through his body. And as he's trying to talk to her, he feels his voice begin to change. And he said that he almost could like feel a struggle, whereas like something is trying to get inside him, something is trying to take over his body. So immediately he freaks out, he panics, and he takes off running. He says it felt like time stopped, and he covered that 5 kilometers inhumanly fast. He does not know how he could possibly have run it that fast, because it's beyond his physical limits. And during this time, as he's running, he is actually calling other people in his family, and as soon as they pick up the phone, they're realizing something is wrong, because his voice is not his own voice. And they immediately know what has happened, because they all have these beliefs that they know something is wrong. So he ends up running to this temple that's quite near his grandmother's house, and some of his family end up meeting him there. And from there, he says that he will absolutely let us know what happened after that. He said that this was the very beginning of events that would absolutely change and shape his life in many, many ways for the rest of his life. So I am definitely curious to find out what happened after this. I guess some of his family had met him at this temple, and he was quite obviously under some sort of possession or influence of something not of this world that we can't explain. Unfortunately, he also did let me know that things with him and Myra did not end up working out. I guess she was supposed to be coming to visit him later on, in a couple months later, and she never made that visit. So I'm sorry to hear about that, but I definitely am excited to hear about what happened after this. I hope that things are okay now. He seems to be in a much better place now, but I guess quite a few scary incidents happened after this. So Let me know in the comments down below if you want to hear the rest of Sam's story, because I sure do. And I would love to share that on my channel with you. I have an email listed down below in the description box if you have any stories that you would like me to relay, true or not. They can be stories that you've just written as well. I would love to read some out on my channel. They don't have to be scary stories either. I mean, that's kind of what I focus on. That's what I write, and that's what I've had personal experiences in. So that's kind of what I share from my life. But you know, if you have other stories that you'd like me to share, even funny ones or just entertaining ones in general, please send me an email. I would love to read it out on my channel. Hope you guys are having an awesome day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!